Christian Horner has just been kicked out of Red Bull, the very team he built from the ground up into a Formula One powerhouse. After almost 2 decades at the top, the man once praised as a genius is now being dragged through the mud by fans, journalists, and even people inside his own team. Social media wasted no time. One viral tweet, with over 1.2 million views, showed a party scene with the caption, "Christian Horner is finally out." Another meme went viral, showing a guy frantically tapping on 5 phones with the text, "Me liking every tweet about Christian Horner getting sacked." But here's the question, why do millions of people suddenly hate Christian Horner? It wasn't always this way. Back in 2005, Horner became the youngest team principal in F1 history at just 31 years old. He was leading a brand new team with no wins, no big budget, and no real threat to anyone. Most of the paddock saw Red Bull as nothing more than a flashy marketing stunt, but Horner didn't care. He played the political game, built a strong garage culture from scratch, and made one legendary hire, Adrian Newey. That decision changed everything. By 2010, Red Bull wasn't just competitive, they were redefining Formula One. With Sebastian Vettel behind the wheel and Newey's engineering brilliance, Red Bull claimed 4 consecutive world championships. Horner became the face of this success, the frontman, the strategist, the master dealmaker. Even when Mercedes dominated during the hybrid era, Horner refused to back down. He kept Red Bull sharp, aggressive, and relevant. Then came Max Verstappen. Horner backed Max from day one, even if it meant upsetting sponsors or breaking up the driver hierarchy. Just as he built the team around Vettel, Horner built a new empire around Max, and in 2021, it paid off. Red Bull finally dethroned Mercedes in one of the most controversial and dramatic seasons F1 has ever seen. What followed was total domination. Verstappen's title defenses in 2022 and 2023 weren't just convincing, they were crushing. For nearly 2 decades, Horner stood at the helm of a winning machine. But what Horner built, he also tried to control, and that's when the cracks began to show. The real shift started after the death of Red Bull founder Dietrich Mateschitz in 2022. Without the man who balanced power at the top, Horner began consolidating control. He wasn't just the team boss anymore, he started shaping the future of the entire organization. That kind of ambition didn't sit well with everyone. Red Bull GmbH in Austria began to worry. Their Thai majority stakeholders reportedly started asking questions. Helmut Marko, the team's iconic talent scout and racing advisor, suddenly found himself sidelined. Rumors began to swirl. Horner was isolating dissenters, promoting loyalists, and making aggressive power plays that went far beyond the pit wall. People inside the team whispered that Horner was becoming untouchable. From the outside, it looked like he was turning Red Bull Racing into his personal empire, but it didn't take long for that bubble to burst. Then came the scandal. In early February 2024, Red Bull confirmed that Christian Horner was under investigation after a female employee accused him of inappropriate and controlling behavior. The investigation, launched by Red Bull's Austrian parent company, was handled by an independent barrister. Despite the seriousness of the allegations, Horner continued to operate as if nothing had changed, attending team launches and testing sessions as usual. The first investigation wrapped up just before the season began, and Horner was cleared. But things quickly escalated. Screenshots of alleged messages described by some outlets as sexually suggestive began circulating online. Though never officially confirmed, the leak was widely believed to have come from inside Red Bull itself. This triggered a second internal probe. By August, Horner had been cleared a second time. But by then, the damage was done. Inside the paddock, senior figures including Jos Verstappen had reportedly lost faith in him. The atmosphere within Red Bull turned toxic. Horner publicly called for the sport to move on, but that was easier said than done. And then came the breaking point. At the 2025 British Grand Prix, Jos Verstappen, Max's father, confronted Horner directly in the paddock. Witnesses say it was anything but a quiet conversation. Jos Verstappen was furious. He reportedly told Horner, "I'm going to put pressure on you, Christian. I think it's more or less a performance-based decision, but of course, you have to keep in mind what's happened over the last 18 months between Red Bull and Red Bull Austria. Of course, it's ultimately a decision from Red Bull GmbH, which is based in Austria. And yes, Christian Horner was cleared last year after the allegations, but you could still feel there was a power struggle going on and the peace simply wasn't there yet. I think they had to make a decision. Joss had already warned the media that Red Bull was being torn apart from the inside. Behind closed doors, many believe he delivered an ultimatum to Red Bull GmbH. Either Horner goes or Max walks. That was the moment everything changed. Meanwhile, Red Bull's on-track performance was falling apart. After years of absolute dominance, the 2024 and 2025 seasons turned into a disaster. Ferrari and McLaren were beating them. The car lacked consistency. Strategy calls were being questioned. And worst of all, Red Bull had slipped to fourth in the Constructors' Championship. For a team used to winning everything, this was a free-fall. Behind the scenes, key engineers were leaving. Adrian Newey, the design genius behind Red Bull's greatest cars, packed his bags. Others soon followed. It wasn't just about losing races anymore, it felt like Red Bull was losing its identity. For fans watching from the outside, there was only one man to blame: Christian Horner. Then came the bombshell. On the 9th of July, 2025, Christian Horner was gone. He was fired without warning. No farewell press conference. No sit-down interview. Just a cold, clinical press release thanking him for his service. Not even a goodbye message from Max. No thank you post from Red Bull Racing. Just silence. And within hours, Laurent Mekies, formerly of Ferrari, was named as his replacement. Just like that, the Horner era was over. The reaction was instant. Some fans were stunned. Others were thrilled. Reddit exploded with threads dissecting every detail of Horner's fall. Journalists started digging into the timeline. Old allies stayed quiet. Former critics piled on. Bernie Ecclestone even weighed in, calling Horner an idiot who had lost the plot. Then came the leaks. Engineers started sharing stories about a toxic culture inside Red Bull. They said Horner ruled with fear, played politics, and made the team all about himself. Whether that was true or not, the floodgates were open and Horner's reputation was drowning. Even Max Verstappen had little to say. He issued a short thank you statement, nothing more, and that silence said everything. There have been countless reports about a fallout between Horner and the Verstappen family last season. But has that relationship ever truly recovered? Well, like any marriage, you don't have to talk every hour of every day, but if the car is good, like it was in 2023 when Red Bull won almost every race, tensions stay hidden. By the end of 2023, though, whispers of a power struggle began. Then came the death of Dietrich Mateschitz in late 2022, the man who built Red Bull into a racing empire. By 2023, there were already stories circulating that Max Verstappen had a break clause in his contract. If Red Bull dropped out of the top 3 by the summer break, he could walk away. Mercedes is watching. Toto Wolff is watching. And now, Red Bull is scrambling to stop the bleeding. Mekies says his #1 priority is keeping Max. But with the team in disarray and Horner gone, the question isn't just why did Horner fall? It's, who's next? So why does everyone hate Christian Horner? Because power went to his head. Because he lost the locker room. Because even when he won, he made enemies. Because in Formula One, where perception matters just as much as performance, he stopped being the clever strategist and started becoming the villain. Horner didn't just get fired. He was rejected by the board, by the Verstappens, and by the very fans who once cheered his name. Do you think Christian Horner deserved this? Or was he just the scapegoat in someone else's power play? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want more raw and unfiltered F1 stories, hit that subscribe button.